his career as an assistant professor at the University of Sagar after receiving his PhD. Dr. Gautam started working at the State Forensic Science Laboratory, where he held prominent positions like Joint Director and Director. In Raipur, Chhattisgarh, he is the first and founding director of the State Forensic Science Laboratory. In addition to this, Dr. Gautam created the Department of Forensic Science at Guru Ghasidas Central University in Bilaspur and held the position of Professor of the Forensic Science. He is a fellow of a Kolkata-based institution of chemists and a member and a chartered chemist of the London-based Royal Institute of Chemistry. Several scientific sessions at national and international conferences and seminars were presided over by him. Dr. Gautam has given numerous talks on universities across the India as well as in the number of police academies and judicial training institutes affiliated with the High Courts of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. He has served as the chemical examiner for the government of Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, assisted in the preparation of thousands of forensic reports for submission to the courts, and testified as a government expert witness in numerous trials. Dr. M.P. Gautam investigated a number of cases referred by the Excise Department of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. For his dedication, Dr. Gautam has received a number of awards, including the Lifetime Achievements Award from the Indian Academy of Forensic Science, Kolkata, in 2012. The Director Excellence Award from the Ministry of Home Affairs in 2005. And the Union Home Minister Award for Excellent Service in the Forensic Chemical Sciences in 2004. He is a renowned academician who has mentored numerous MPhil students and 5 scholars towards their PhD, in addition to being a forensic scientist. Currently, 3 PhD students are working under his supervision. He has more than 100 research papers that have been published in reputed journals, both domestically and internationally. Additionally, he has written 2 books and presented more than 50 research papers at different conferences. He has 30 general essays to this credit that have appeared in reputable journals and top newspapers. He is currently employed by Sri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Indore, as a professor of forensic science. So with this, I would like to call the coordinator of Sri Vaishnav Institute of Forensic Science, Dr. Ashutosh Shukla sir, to welcome the session chair virtually. Thank you so much, sir. Now I take the opportunity to introduce the today's session speaker, Dr. Kapil Kumar. Dr. Kapil Kumar is Associate Professor and Coordinator, MSc Forensic Science and Cyber Security at the Department of Biochemistry and Forensic Science, Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. He is a MSc in Forensic Science, UGC qualified, UGC NET qualified, and a PhD in Forensic Science. Dr. Kapil Kumar is a pioneer member of.
Excuse me, Nirvan sir.
Yes, ma'am.
अगर हो सकता मैं गलत हूँ, मुझे कपिल सर अभी दिख नहीं रहे हैं यहाँ पर पैनलिस्ट में.
सर
एक मिनट मैम, सर तो अभी थे, आई थिंक
अभी थे, तो मुझे ना मैंने कहा देखो, इसलिए मैंने.
ठीक है मैम, ठीक. एक सेकंड.
ओके मैडम, वी विल वेट फॉर दैट.
जी.
इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रॉब्लम की वजह से सर ज्वाइन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं सर अभी, तो उन्होंने कहा है कि 5 मिनट
सर ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं
ज्वाइन,
अभी।
तो स्टार्ट द होल प्रोग्राम अगेन सर।
हाँ जी सर। नेटवर्क चला गया। ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं सर, क्या लाइट चली गई है ना। निर्वाण सर का ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है?
हाँ कपिल ज्वाइन नहीं करना।
लाइट चली गई है सर।
हाँ अच्छा, कितनी देर बाद ज्वाइन करो? ठीक 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 ठीक।
क्या बोलूं? सर आ गए?
नहीं बस अभी नहीं,
नहीं है ना? अरे मेरा लॉगिन हो रहा है।
लॉगिन नहीं हुआ।
क्या हो रहा है?
वो ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं ना?
हाँ, सबको बोल दो।
मेरा भी ज्वाइन नहीं हो रहा है, मैंने बोल दिया सर। ऑफिस से पूरा शुरू करूं?
कैसे पाल
पूरा ना सब?
आप पहले पार्टिसिपेंट्स को
Program will start within the 5 minutes. Due to the technical problem, we are solving the problem. Within a 5 minutes, the program will be resumed.
चार्ज
Hello,
Yes, sir.
sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Sorry, actually मेरे यहाँ लाइट चली गई मेरे डिपार्टमेंट में जो है, तो I could not join.
No problem, sir. No problem, sir. Technical problem these are.
So shall we start?
Yes, sir. Should.
Yes, sir.
Gautam, sir, should we start?
हाँ हाँ, क्या हो गया सर?
सर लाइट चली गई डिपार्टमेंट में.
हाँ चलो, बढ़िया बढ़िया हो गया. Now you start, Mr. Ingole.
Okay, sir. A very good afternoon to all. I am Nirvan Ingole on the behalf of Sri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya. Feels privileged to welcome you all to the second session of the SAMVACHYY. And before session begins, it is my pleasure to introduce today's session chair, Dr. MP Gautam. Dr. MP Gautam completed his PhD at the former University of the Sagar, now known as the Dr. Hari Singh Gaur University Sagar. He began his career as an assistant professor at the University of Sagar after receiving his PhD. Dr. Gautam started working at the State Forensic Science Laboratory, where he held prominent positions like a joint director and director. In Raipur, Chhattisgarh, he is the first and founding director of the State Forensic Science Laboratory. In addition to this, Dr. Gautam created the Department of Forensic Science at Guru Ghasidas Central University in the Bilaspur and held the position of the professor of the forensic science. He is a fellow of Kolkata-based Institution of Chemists and a member and chartered chemist of the London-based Royal Institute of Chemistry. Several scientific sessions at national and international conferences and seminars were presided over by him. Dr. Gautam has numerous talks at universities across India, as well as in a number of police academies, judicial training institutes affiliated with the high courts of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. He has served as the chemical examiner for the government of Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, assisted in the preparation of thousands of forensic reports for submission to the courts, and testified as a government expert witness in the numerous trials. Dr. Gautam investigated a number of cases referred by the Excise Department of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. For his dedication, Dr. Gautam has received a number of awards, including Lifetime Achievements Award from the Indian Academy of Forensic Science, Kolkata in 2012, the Director Excellence Award from the Ministry of Home Affairs in 2005, and the Union Home Minister Award for Excellent Service in Forensic Chemical Sciences in 2004. He is a renowned academician who has mentored numerous MPhil students and 5 scholars towards their PhDs, in addition to being a forensic scientist. Currently, three PhD students are working under his supervision. He has more than 100 research papers that have been published in the reputable journals, both domestically and internationally. Additionally, he has written 2 books and presented more than 50 research papers at different conferences. He has 30 general essays to his credit that have appeared in reputable journals and top newspapers. Now, he is currently employed by Sri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya, Indore, as a professor of forensic science. With this introduction, I would like to call the coordinator of Sri Vaishnav Institute of Forensic Science, Dr. Ashutosh Shukla sir, to welcome today's session virtually. Thank you so much, sir. Now I take the opportunity to introduce today's session speaker, Dr. Kapil Kumar. Dr. Kapil Kumar is Associate Professor and Coordinator, MSc Forensic Science and Cyber Security at the Department of Biochemistry and Forensic Science, Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. He is a MSc in Forensic Science, UGC NET qualified, and PhD in Forensic Science. Dr. Kapil Kumar is a pioneer member of establishing the Department of Forensic Science at Gujarat University, Ahmedabad in 2006. He was organizing secretary for the 24th All India Forensic Science Conference 2018, jointly organized by DFS, Ministry of Home Affairs, RSU, and Gujarat University. He have been a resource person at many RUSA-sponsored faculty development programs, short-term courses and refresher courses in various universities, covering topics on the various branches of forensic science and nanotechnology. He is a lifetime member of Gujarat Science Academy, member of Board of Studies in Forensic Science at Parul University, Vadodara, member Board of Studies, Biotechnology, Biochemistry and Forensic Science at YCIS Satara. His area of interest is crime scene investigation, ballistic, question document examination, fraud investigation, fingerprint examination, and cyber forensics. Dr. Kapil Kumar have published many research papers in peer-reviewed journals and books. Currently, 7 research scholars are under guidance of him. He is also involved in the consultancy activities in a financial fraud investigation with various banks and police organizations. With this, now I would like to call the session chair to welcome the session speaker, Dr. Kapil Kumar, virtual. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Now I would like to call Dr. Kapil Kumar for his scientific deliberation. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Gautam sir and other participants and dignitaries. As you all know, I'm Dr. Kapil Kumar from Gujarat University. So today's topic of my presentation is on bank frauds. My slide is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, visibility.
Yes.
Yeah. So today's topic of discussion is investigating forensic documents in bank fraud cases. Usually we see that document examination is there in criminal cases, in frauds related to revenue documents and in financial institutions. But when it comes to bank fraud investigations, there is a scope for many things, like many things are involved in bank frauds. And it's not just examining the documents. It is about how we investigate the bank frauds, like from where, what should the starting point of a forensic expert to investigate the bank frauds, and especially the documents involved in the bank frauds. So let us first see what is the function of a bank. Slide is moving? No.
Yes, moving, sir, it is.
Moving. So first is what is bank? So you all know that bank is a backbone of any economy in a country, and it regulates or restricts the regulations, or it can be imposed on the modus operandi of the banks. Major transactions and credits are being done by the banks. In India, RBI is the governing body and mandatory for all other banks. So basically, banks are classified into two broad categories. That is the scheduled banks and non-scheduled banks. These scheduled banks are scheduled under Clause 2 of RBI Act 1934. So all these banks which cover under this clause are known as scheduled banks, whereas those who are not covered in this Clause 2 of RBI Act, they are known as non-scheduled banks. Scheduled banks includes commercial banks and corporate banks both. So we'll discuss that classification further. So let me, we all know that RBI was established in 1st January 1935, and it is the biggest regulatory body of all financial institutions in India. So the main task of RBI is assisting financial institutions, issuing money and enforcing monetary policies, the financial system supervisors. So this is the classification of the banks, where the RBI stands at the top, followed by 3 main branches, that is scheduled bank, non-scheduled bank, and development banks. Again, scheduled banks are again divided into 2 parts, like commercial banks and cooperative banks. So here is the classification of banks. I'm not going in detail of this classification, but to know this classification is very important, because when we go for the investigation purpose, we should know what kind of bank it is, where it is being scheduled, and what are the functioning of the banks. So once we know what kind of bank it is, we will be able to understand the functioning of these banks. Okay, what are the limitations, what transactions they have, what transaction rights they possess. So it is important to know these classifications. Now, let us come to the main topic of today's that is the fraud. So fraud refers to an intentional act by one or more individuals among management, those who charged with governance, employee, or third party. So fraud is basically can be done by one person, or it can be by many persons. Okay, it can be the employee of the bank, or it can be someone else outside the bank also. The main important part in this is all these acts are done for legal advantages or to obtain a illegal benefits from the banks. So while going for this examination, by these frauds, who gets affected? But suppose there is a fraud in a bank. So ultimately, who will get affected with these frauds is, first is the creditors. The creditors will get affected. Then the institution or the business of the bank will get affected. The financial institutions and intermediary will get affected. Then federal or local governments, financial markets, and investors. So there is a long list of the affected people. So that's why it is very important to investigate the bank frauds in a very proper manner, so that these people, or so many people which are affected by this, should not get harmed or affected. So for the investigation purpose, we start with the purpose or why a fraud is being committed in the banks. So there are three main perspectives of the frauds, which is known as a fraud triangle. First is the perceived opportunity. So this is like when there is a weak internal controls or ineffective monitoring, that or assets are susceptible to frauds, then the persons who are involved in handling this, they have a chance to commit a fraud, and that's why they do it. So we can say the internal systems are not that robust or strong which can prevent the frauds, or it gives the opportunity to the employees or a third party person. So that is one of the cause of committing a fraud. Second is a perceived pressure. Suppose the person who is working in the bank is having a financial pressure of greed, either due to greed or due to addiction, or because of its poor credit rates. So that person is forced to commit a fraud, or we can say that this can be one of the impulse to create a to go for a fraud. Okay, then there are other factors also, like work pressure includes the dissatisfaction with pay. If suppose a person is not smartly paid, or he thinks that he is not adequately paid, so that gives rise to again committing a fraud and getting some easy money out of the system. Then overlooked for promotions. So suppose the person is overlooked for promotions, so he many of the times will try to get at least the monetary beneficiaries. Then third is the rationalization. Rationalization is suppose the person takes some money and he will pay it back. I deserve a pay rise. So these are the psychological factors which affects a person to go for the to commit a fraud. Then there are many ways of committing these frauds, like fictitious income, improper expenses, recognitions, incorrect assets, and all these are you can say the modus operandi by which these frauds can be committed. Then there is a list of these frauds which includes so many things, the majority, if I focus on the silent points, that corruption is one of the main topic or main type of fraud in this. Then we have credit card frauds, we have counterfeiting, forgeries, or copyright abuse can be there. Then money laundering nowadays, money laundering is one of the most important part, where forensic expert has to really examine the things both nationally and internationally to come out with the investigations. And insurance fraud is again one of the major part. Then for these frauds, actually the term forensic auditing or forensic audit is being like termed in this document examination as well as in bank frauds. So forensic audit refers to application of accounting methods. Now this is not just simple accounting. This includes the basics of auditing and the forensic document techniques, that is the examination of the documents, the forensic documents. So that will be like included in the forensic audits. Now, why we need a forensic audit requirement? So first is to find out whether or not true business values has been reflected in the financial statements. Second is to find whether any fraud has taken place. That is the key, or any clue which we can get from the documents or from the statements for identifying that whether a fraud has been done. And the third is to determine if there are suspicious practices hiding beneath company or individual financial records and statements. So nowadays, as media reports are coming for few companies, so this is the one which we have to do or we have to investigate after forensic auditing. So this is outcome of the forensic audit. Now, I will not go in this detail. That is the difference between financial audit and forensic audit. Financial audit is auditing the balance sheets and the documents only, whereas in forensic auditing includes two things. Financial auditing is required, but as well as forensic techniques of auditing are also used, which includes the document examination, fraud, money launderings, and all these things are included in this forensic auditing. Next is how we investigate these frauds. So there is a pattern, or we can say a method of investigation. The very first thing is, of course, the accepting the investigation. Second is planning the investigation. In in bank frauds, planning the examination is very important because there may be like system involved, individual involved. So we need a systematic investigation process for this. So a planned investigation has to be carried out. Second is the gathering the evidences. To gather the evidence, the very first is the accounts department, from where we'll gather the evidences. Second is the management, and third is from the documents, whatever there on the records. Then perform the analysis. Once the analysis is being performed, it is being reported and followed by court proceedings. Now, there are like certain types of investigations under this. So the very first thing is asset misappropriations. This asset misappropriations is basically for the institutes where the entire institute or entire company is involved in the frauds and manipulating their assets to have a gain or to have a certain kind of balance sheet for that. So for that, the companies do a asset misappropriations. Second is the corruption. There is a corruption in the corporate or employee level, or within the in corporate banks usually. Even this corruption is involved at the higher levels also. So that includes bribes, extortions, and conflict of interest. So these all introduces the corruptions in the financial institutions. Then financial statement frauds. This is again where manipulations are done in the financial statements to manipulate these balance sheets. Now, these are the departments from which are very much prone to the bank frauds. Of course, the very first thing is the saving bank accounts, where maximum number of frauds are being recorded. Then current account frauds, credit cards, bookkeeping departments, fraud by staff members, fraud in purchase bills, and remittance departments. So they are all other departments where these frauds can be committed. Now, let us come to the main part, where why these forensic tools of investigations are needed. These forensic tools of investigation are needed because only 20% of respondents have decided forensic technique tools. I'm talking about the bank sector, so only 20% are being responding to it, whereas only 7% has partially implemented, 13% are just started it, 23% planning to start the next few months, and 37% are not started. So this is a huge number, where 37% of the banking sector has not even started using the forensic tools for investigations. So there is a vast scope for this field, and there is future demand also for forensic experts. Now let us come to the forensic part, that is the type of question document examination in bank fraud. So basically, the very first thing is handwriting examination and comparison. That includes the signatures also. When I talk about handwriting, it includes the handwriting as well as signatures. So especially in the instruments like check, withdrawal forms, loan documents, in all these places you will find writing and signatures both as questioned, and we need to examine it. Second is the mechanical electronic impression examinations and comparisons. So this is basically the print the copies, like fax copies examination can be there. There can be an email printout examinations. Such type of things can be there on, or any electronic impressions are there, like printers, printed documents. All these things are included. Second is the conventional printing and paper examination. Conventional printing like offset printing or pressure printing kind of thing is there, or there is examination of paper, especially in cases of check forgeries where fake checks are being made. So in that case, we need to examine the papers also. Then altered documents, where some alterations are made in the check or withdrawal forms to gain some undue advantages. So these altered documents are also there. Then many of the times we need to examine the age of the documents, though age is not a very much important in banking sector, but still there are few cases in which age of documents has been like in question. So in that case, we have to examine the age of the documents. And the last is the digital photography and an enhancement, where these digital photographs are being used to obtain the important information out of the documents. So the very first is handwriting examination and comparison. This includes the identification of writing, identification of signatures, identification of handprinting and numbers. So basically, when some figures or these numbers are being written in financial records or in ledger or on checks, so this has to be compared and examined. Then second is the disguise in handprinting and numericals, where genuinely a genuine person deliberately tries to hide his own writings or signatures. So in that case, disguised writing is being examined. Next is the mechanical and electronic impressions. So that includes the examination of pen and pencils, typography or typewriters, the examination of computer generated documents, photocopies, facsimile copies, that is fax copies, manipulated photocopies, fax and computer printed documents, and rubber stamps. So all these are like included in mechanical and electronic impressions. Then we have certain examinations that includes the conventional printing and paper examination. So conventional printing process includes the examination of original forms or original documents which are being printed from the banks, whether they are genuinely printed from the bank or provided from the bank, or the person has fakely printed from outside or from other sources. Second is the paper examination. As I told you, paper examination is important in check forgeries, where fake checks are being prepared for same numbers or for same name. Then carbonless papers are usually there in cases of loans, where lots of documents are being prepared with loan signatures of the person who is taking the loan, and a Xerox copy or carbon copy is provided to the person, and that's why these carbon copies examinations being questioned in such type of cases. Now let us have certain case studies where documents are being used or where the forgeries has been committed. These are the real cases which are being investigated. So this is the first case. If you see here, this is again a check forgery case where it's actually written in Gujarati and it's a long back, where you can see that 3,220 in Gujarati it is written. Tranu is 93,220 was written. But if you examine that in detail, that actually the original figure, if you see here, the 9, that clumsiness of the 9 itself indicates that this has been added afterwards. But this forgery is done so smartly that in case of like in words, the original figure was Tran. So what he did is he added this staff stroke of Tra and U matra at the bottom. So instead of tran, that is 3, it became tranu. Tranu is 93. So simply by adding 2 strokes in the word, it became tranu 93 and adding 9 at the beginning. So the amount 3,220 was subsequently changed to 93,220. Because this forgery was done so smartly that it got like undetected by the bank people. But afterwards, when this was audit was being carried out, so this came into light and then sent to the forensic document examination, and then it was proved that this forgery has been committed. Another case study is again of a bank where the amount has been manipulated. You can see certain like zigzag things in this check where it was issued to Gujarat Machinery Private Limited, and a 50 lakh check was being issued, and it was being passed by the bank at first sight, but afterwards again it was proved that when the person complained, there was no such check issued. So this, if you see here, apparently do not look like any forgery is being committed. The amount given here is intact or not giving much clue. But when this examination was done in a very high magnification, that high magnification, you can see the microprinting also on the top of these lines. So that high magnification revealed that there is some stroke at the like beneath the stroke 5. So there was like it gives an appearance of 1. When further examined this under various wavelengths of light and with photography, at lower wavelength, they do not show any change in the ink characteristics. But when we change the filters, different filters were changed, you can see that the letter 5 is visible, but rest of the numbers or zeros are not visible. Now this indicates that the letter 5, the ink used in making this letter 5 and the zeros at the bottom are of different sources. So here the filter photography plays a very important role for distinguishing the 2 inks by which the forgery has been committed. Next is the image. Now the same figure, if you see here, the forgery where this now the words are being written for 50 lakhs, when they were examined under photographic high magnifications and with the transverse light, the word 50, you can see the disturbed fibers here. So these disturbed fibers in oblique light indicates the presence of erasers and physical erasers, which was further when examined under the fluorescent light. It was clearly visible that this fluorescent part of the interstitial ink embedded on the paper shows the letter T, E, and this is N, which was further erased and rewritten as 50. So the amount here, the previous amount, the original amount was 10 lakhs, which was changed to 50 lakhs in this case. Again, there was a question for these signatures also, but the signatures were genuinely handwritten. You can see the fibers embedded in the paper, which indicates that the signature is genuinely handwritten and not a printed signature. But forgery was there in altering the number 1, that is 10 lakhs to 5 lakhs. There is another case of again a bank where manipulations has been done in noting of a document. So this was the noting. At a glance, it looks like something is like rewritten or overwritten here in please, but rest of the document remains undetected. But again, when further examination was carried out, it was found that this please, which is written here, is actually the beneath it is no. So previously it was no, which was changed to please here. So this was possible only due to the examination of the document under fluorescent filter light and with the specific wavelengths of light. Again, if you see here, this looks like issue at this sentence that issue at this time. This looks like a continuous sentence. There is no gap, but again, when further examined under filtered light sources, the original sentence finishes at issue, and there was a full stop. You can see here a full stop being indicated here, and further afterwards from a same writer, because the writing is same. You can see here the writing is same. The same writer made this addition. The same writer made this addition by writing at the full stop, and again adding this line afterwards. So you can see the clear-cut change in at this lower line inquiry directions and the issue and the signatures. So that clearly indicates that this has been written first, and after this, at this time of inquiry, all these things are added afterwards in the documents. One more thing which is very important in bank frauds is related with the ATM slips or the slips coming out of the machines of the banks, especially in cases of like when you deposit a check, a slip comes, so that comes on the thermal paper. The ATM slips comes on the thermal papers. So there was a very much important to know these thermal papers, and one of the property of these thermal papers is that these thermal papers get faded from a long code, like from 5 to 10 days, they get faded and nothing is visible on these papers. So in many cases, these thermal papers was sent for examination and to know what is being written on the paper. So in that case, there are like many methods, destructive methods available to reveal these faded writings. But there was a need to develop a non-destructive method. So I did one, I developed a method for examining these faded writings by using non-destructive method and using the VSC, that is video spectral comparator, and using the image enhancement softwares. So the very first is that this is here the step 1, examination under visible light. So N5, this white document is being the original document where the photography has been done. The second is this photography of this slip was done under UV light, ultraviolet illuminations, and specifically with 365 wavelength of light. So this 365 wavelength of light gives a slight view of the writings or the printed writings on the thermal papers. This was further enhanced to the step 3, that is image conversion and auto correction. So the image obtained in step 2 was further enhanced, and image auto correction was done, which were further changed to grayscale to obtain the maximum contrast between the background and the printed writing. And the fourth stage, where this grayscale image was further implemented for gamma correction and noise removal. So this is the final outcome of the examination, where we can read what is being written here on the documents, and all the details are present on these slips. By this method, we could develop a bank slip, that is ATM slip, after 8 months of the printing. And this time was revealed when we developed it and we saw the date on the slip. That revealed that this slip is 8 years old. So this method is effective for, at least I can say now, that this is effective for at least an 8-year-old slip. So thank you. This was all about the document examination in bank fraud cases. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Definitely, the exposure of the real cases enhances the understanding of the subject, and you shared the many real cases with us. Thank you so much for sir for this. Now I open the session for the questions. If the participant has any kind of the question, they can put into the chat box. Any questions are there from the panelists or the participants? I think all understood the subjects throughout. Okay. I have one question, sir, from my side.
Of course.
You allow us. Sir, artificial intelligence is now entering, or I can say is already entered into the forensic investigation. So in a document science, how it can be helpful? Is it involved in the forensic document examination, or we have to be wait for this?
AI is involved in document examinations, but again there is a debate like how or how reliable will be an AI in document examination. So here I will say the famous quote of the Top Gun Maverick, that it's the man behind the machine. So AI can be AI can be a machine tool for examination, but examination will depend on the man behind the machine who is sitting. So though AI can help us for document examination, but it cannot replace the expertise of the examiner, the keen observation of an examiner. Still, the AI has to go a long way for document examination, because examination is not just limited to one thing. Okay, it includes a number of things, so many environmental factors, different conditions, case to case related differences are there in document examination. So I usually say that document examination is not just looking to one thing, it is using all the senses of the examiner. That includes the vision, sense, smell, even the feel. Like if you want to know whether a signature is printed or handwritten, simply feel the pen pressure below the signature. You will come to know whether it is like printed or it is being handwritten. So ultimately, this AI won't be able to like replace the senses of an expert. But of course, it will it will give an additional expert, and it will be a tool for experts for examination.
Right. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
Any other question? Okay.
I think there is one question in chat. No.
No, sir, it is
No.
informal. No.
Okay, ठीक है.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
एक minute. Someone has asked.
Yes,
a
sir. How
question.
to examine the handwriting? Yes, sir.
Someone has asked a question: how to examine the handwriting of people having different handwritings? Some can write with their both hands. In such cases, how to examine it? Okay, this is a question where the persons can write in both the hand, the writings, or both the hands, accustomed and non-accustomed hands. But one thing should be made very clear, that writing is not just employing the hands. It is the inherent character of the person which he has developed from years of writing. Right from the day the person tried to hold that writing instrument, starting from that day till today, so many factors has been involved in developing these writing patterns. A person may change his hands, but the individual characters of the writer will always be same. So that cannot be changed. So though the person write in different hands, but still will be able to examine it. That's it. Is there any other question?
Any questions?
I think there's no other questions.
Yes, sir. Okay, now I would like to call session chair, Dr. MP Gautam, sir, to conclude the session. Over to you, sir. You are mute, sir.
So thank you, Nirmal. First of all, I would like to congratulate Dr. Kapil Kumar for excellent deliberation. He has proved that he is a very good teacher. He's asking about the questions. I have seen this quality in this Kapil Kumar. Any question. And I have also visited his, I could get one time to visit his department. How nicely he has prepared a instrumentation laboratory is wonderful. I was very much impressed with that moment. He don't believe in shortcuts. He explained each and everything. He started his lecture from the definition of bag. I have also gone through the paper which you have referred about, the thermal paper. Everything you have mentioned in that. And one of my students was taking notes from your paper.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I know. But he could not proceed further due to some he was outsider. So as Mr. Nirman Ingole has told about the concluding remark, our Dr. Kapil Kumar is very intelligent. He has left nothing, so I can conclude anything. From A to Z, he has explained all types of frauds about banks, and I am thankful that it is a need to the students. He has selected a very relevant topic. It is a topic which is needed by the student because this topic is covered in their, this topic is included in their syllabus to the society and to the forensic scientists. So it was, I think our participant might have experienced how nicely he has given the inputs about the document there. No doubt, I know since long back to Dr. Kopar, successively, he is improving his expertise in the field of forensic science, not only for this documentation, but he is also proceeding towards the cyber security also. So thank you very much. And in future also, we will expect that such a nice lecture should be arranged by our alumni committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
sir.
organizing committee, for
Thank you,
inviting
sir.
me, and thank you, sir, Gautam sir, for your kind words.
Okay.
It is your blessing, sir, that
Yes,
we
yes,
are doing
certainly.
our work, and I hope your guidance will be there in future
No, certainly.
for our future endeavors.
I'm ready everywhere
Thank you, sir.
at any time. So please wait now. Bursts of thanks will be there.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Now I would like to call coordinator of the SAMVACHYY 2020 for the words of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to all of you. I, Poonam Yadav, coordinator of SAMVACHYY 2023, on behalf of Sri Vaishnav Institute of Forensic Science, Sri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Indore, express my deepest regards to each one of you. First and foremost, with great pleasure and reverence, I express my deep sense of gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. G.D. Sarma, Vice Chancellor, Vice President, Association of Indian Universities, University of Science and Technology, Meghalaya, for his words of wisdom. Next, I would like to thank all our distinguished speakers, Dr. Rakesh Puria, Professor and Head, Gyan Sagar Medical College, Patiala, Punjab, Dr. Vimukti Chauhan, Assistant Director, Forensic Toxicology Division, Central Forensic Science Laboratory, Chandigarh, Dr. Kapil Kumar, Associate Professor, Department of Biochemistry and Coordinator, Forensic Science, Gujarat University, Ahmedabad, for sparing time out of their busy schedule and embarrassing us by their valuable words. I would also like to thank Chairperson of the Plenary Session 1, Dr. K.N. Guru Prasad, Dean Science and Director, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Science, Sri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Indore, and for second plenary session to Dr. M.P. Gautam, Senior Professor, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Forensic Science, Sri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Indore, for sharing their valuable time and concluding the session very nicely. No program can be successful without able guidance and timely support of superiors. On this occasion, I thank you, our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Upender Dhar, for his wholehearted support, encouragement, and motivation. I am also thankful to Dr. Santosh Dhar, Director and Dean, FDSR, for her precious presence. Thanks are also due to Dr. Anand Rajawat, Director SVIT and his team members, Sri Shadab Sheikh and Srikant, Sri Parvez, providing all the necessary technical support to make this event a success. I would also like to thank all our participants from various institutes and university, especially lovely Professional University Punjab, Amity University Noida UP, Dr. Hari Singh Gaur Central University Sagar, Guru Ghasidas Central University Chhattisgarh, Gujarat University Ahmedabad, and Garden City University Bangalore, and Karunanidhi Institute of Technology Coimbatore, Tirthankar Mahavir University UP, Chandigarh University Chandigarh, and Punjab University Chandigarh, National Forensic Science University Gandhinagar Gujarat, Medicabs University Indore, Sage University Indore, Academy of Research and Education Telangana, and Kumaon University Nainital, and Government Institute of Forensic Science Aurangabad Maharashtra, Institute of Research and Technology Excellence Bhopal, Yashwantrao Chauhan Institute of Science Satara Maharashtra, Vivekanand Global University Jaipur Rajasthan, Yanopaya Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital Mangaluru, and Government Holkar Science College Indore for attending our event with their virtual presence. Last but not the least, I must confess that the completion of this work would have been impossible without support of Dr. Ashutosh Shukla, Coordinator, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Forensic Science and Convener SAMVACHYY 2023. Finally, I am thankful to all the faculty members of Sri Vaishnav Institute of Forensic Science, Dr. Swati Dubey Mishra, Mrs. Nandini Bansod, Mr. Nirvan Ingole, Mr. Dinesh Kamble, Mr. Anurag Srivastava, Ms. Archana Pathak, Ms. Hiramani Patidar, Mr. Hayush Verma, and Mr. Manglesh Chapurkar for their valuable support. Above all, I thank Almighty God for showering His blessing upon us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, madam. Now I request to raise for the national anthem. Technical team, please.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
मैं आपको बोलने वाला था कल आपको हमारे
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you to all.
Thank you.
Kapil, Dr. Kapil, thank you very much.
Should we stop this session, sir?
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.